Michaela, we're matching. Look at this.
Check out.
Check us out.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
You're right, guys, and welcome to the latest episode of Muscle Out Talks. Really, this sort of interesting episode today that we got for you. BuzzFeed UK have just put out an article on wheelchairs and how you get wheelchairs and, well, how they're administered from the NHS through the CCGs to people who need them here in the UK. And the crux of the story is, or the main point of the issue is, that people who need wheelchairs aren't getting them. Or if they are getting them, they're getting the most basic wheelchairs that don't meet their needs. So, I don't know, Michaela, what the heck is going on?
I'm glad I live in Northern Ireland for a very remote change. Yeah, in Northern Ireland, they had a big discussion quite a while ago about people with severe physical disability and their need for wheelchairs, and decided that they would just fund them because there were so few of us. But this study looked at England, specifically in England, so not including Scotland and Wales, and to think that depending on where you live, you will either absolutely get a wheelchair 100% of the time, or have less chance of getting a wheelchair than you do of not getting one.
So that's how big the disparity is.
Yeah, like some of it dropped down into the 40s.
You just get whatever you need immediately, and that's that within the allotted time frame. I think it's 18 weeks or something like that. And other places, as we're saying, they just can't fund at all for the wheelchair that person needs. In fact, just before we start, if you want to just really quickly explain the difference between how you get a wheelchair in Northern Ireland as to maybe Scotland and England and Wales, because, yeah, I don't know, that's a bit interesting too.
Yeah, it's a bit different. You would be referred by your OT, your occupational therapist, not by your GP. Which I think is a fundamental difference. But in
Northern Ireland.
In Northern Ireland, we referred by OTs, but from what I understand, in England, you're referred by your GP. That doesn't happen here.
And is that more beneficial?
I personally think it is. I think the OT has a more hands-on view in terms of what mobility aids you might need and what can be put together to make it work. But I think the other major difference is we have them funded fully. So unless you're buying something that is really out of the ordinary, it's funded here. It's not very often you hear people needing to go find funding to pay for a wheelchair. It would be, they do fund quite a generous selection of different types of wheelchairs with different specifications. They try to make it as universal as they can. It doesn't always work out that way, but I haven't had to buy a private chair now for quite some time, so they are on top of their game by and large.
Yeah, no, that because that's the thing that struck me about this article. I mean, we hear it being spoken about quite a lot, that, you know, individual cases, oh, this person can't get this chair, or this person can't get this piece of equipment that they need to meet their needs. But when you see it being put, you know, broadly as a whole, this huge discrepancy between different counties and CCGs in the UK, with some people getting stuff and other people not, just based on where they live. But more importantly, the thing that hits home for me is people having to fundraise for a wheelchair. Like, what? You kidding me? So that's, and I think you often compare it to shoes, you know? It's like Wellington boots to go out across a field or whatever. You know, this is somebody's ability to walk, to move, to have an independent life. So that, for me, is, you know, in a society, I always, as people who live in the US or other places know, we have the NHS, so we get free healthcare, and that's a brilliant system. And I always complain, we don't get free dental care as well. We should, because teeth are bones, yeah? But, I mean, that's, you know, one thing people should get.
Well, let me say this.
The NHS is wheelchairs.
Yeah, I mean, like, dental care can be argued for, where people are going to die from dental disease. Like, if you look back at Victorian times, that was one of the leading causes of death, was poor dental care. We should be investing in that. That's a
side point. Let's invest in dental care as well. Yeah. Sort it out. Get me some good teeth.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to America soon.
But yeah, that's a whole side point. The whole thing, I mean,
Because in fact, just before you start, as many people know, my brother has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and the thing is, it's so, for so many families, as many people know, it's so hard to bring up a child with a disability because of all the things that need to be catered for. And a wheelchair isn't, you don't even ever think of that. When you get the diagnosis, you're thinking, oh, this, oh, that, oh, the holidays, everything. You don't think, how will we get a wheelchair? Like, that is something you should, okay, here's a wheelchair, yeah, minimum. So, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think that makes me think of is back when I was very little, I was on a very popular TV show in Ireland called School Around the Corner, and it was a Christmas special, and they did it from the hospital. And my sister was 14 at the time, and Frank Mitchell said to her, we presented the program, he said to Martina, what's the best Christmas present you've ever had? She went in my wheelchair, and it was just straight off her tongue.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with that. Like,
I've seen that program. Brilliant show, and a brilliant bit of the show, and that really hit home to me as well, because I thought that's not a present. That's a basic thing that you should have. But at the same time, I thought it was beautiful because it reflected her view and her idea of, and the real importance of a wheelchair as well. Yeah, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, for anyone, you wouldn't go out and go to work with no shoes on. You can't go out and go to work with no shoes on, like, my goodness. Saying you can live without this wheelchair is just ludicrous. Especially for people on the more severe end of the scale like we would be. It literally is like a pair of shoes, but when your pair of shoes are literally ingrained into your body. I mean, I sit in two things and lie on one. I sit in my wheelchair, I sit on my shower chair, and I lie in bed. And those are the three places I can be. Arguably, I can be able to sleep for a short period of time, but if I was going on a half light and run that life, there's no way I'd manage anything longer than 2 hours in a plane. It would be too painful. So, you take away someone's wheelchair, you take away their entire freedom, you take away their autonomy, you take away their sense of being, their sense of identity, all in that chair. And that's why quite a number of disabled people will say, don't touch my wheelchair unless you ask my permission. Because it's part of their body, you don't go about leaning on it like it's a prop. Yeah. Certainly for people that are close to me, they're allowed to, I don't care. But if you're a stranger member of the public, generally speaking, we ask that you don't do it, because it is such a huge part of our bodies and our ways of functioning. Yeah. And each wheelchair has its own unique quirk, I suppose, to it that allows us to do things maybe that we weren't able to do in the last chair. So it's
and I think just
personality to it.
Just on that, I'll say, I think it's important we make clear as well. I think for people who don't deal with disability day in, day out, aren't so aware, wheelchairs vary. So, I mean, somebody with, for example, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, again, using my brother's example, my Andy walked until he was 9 or 10. He needed a wheelchair when he was about 8 or 9, just a push wheelchair, manual chair, to go about the place. He didn't need a power chair there. So that was funded at that point. But then, when he then needs a chair full time, 11, 12, 13, these are the years when he then does need a power chair because he has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, so he can't propel himself. So he needs that autonomy to be able to move by himself. But then he then needs a very different chair 10 years later, because he's had a back operation, his back's changed, his whole body's changed, and then after that, if he needs breathing apparatus, other things like that, chairs aren't just. I think able-bodied people in general who don't deal with disability can often end up thinking, well, it's just something you sit in and it needs wheels, but it's because you're sitting in it for so long, and your body parts aren't moving around like somebody else's would, I think it's really important that we remember that it's very, very intricate piece of equipment, and that's why some of them have to be very expensive, some of them have to be very highly detailed and whatever else, and highly thought through and adapted to people's specific condition. So that's the thing. When we say NHS or the CCGs are part funding, that's because they're saying, well, we'll fund a basic chair, but these chairs don't meet the needs that people need.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If I think of me, my chair has...
Think of you, Michaela.
Think of me. So my chair has 34 features. So it has
34 features?
3 or 4.
I was going to say, you were including like the beep beep horn as one of those features.
Nah, the beep beep horn needs to
lights.
They need to have horns that we can program, but that's besides the point. I've got the rise and fall, so my chair goes up to roughly 5'4". 5'4" in height, so I'm eye level with your average Joe public. It has a tilt, so the whole seat will tilt me back a bit like a dentist chair. And then we have the recline feature, which is like a reclining sofa where the backrest goes back.
Which is
yeah. And then you've got the leg risers where you can put your feet up and down. And like of all of those features, I need the leg ones to make sure my feet don't go dead and I don't end up with my feet dropping off because there's no oxygen in them. I need the backrest recline so that we can access my peg tube when we need to. And also to give my hips a bit of a stretch sometimes. But most importantly, the tilt. If people watch this regularly, they'll see my position might change in the middle of me speaking, or I might stop and change position and start again. I tilt my chair constantly. And only by minute fractions. But that is something that everybody else does in their seat naturally. Through their own body movements. I just can't do it through my own body movements. And, that one function is something that many people just wouldn't get in England, I'm imagining, because it's seen as unnecessary. And as for rise and fall, I'm as deaf as a doorknob in a loud room, and I really cannot hear you. I need to lip read everybody. And if I'm not eye level, it's impossible to do. So, sometimes you'll see me maybe go back a little bit, and that's sort of lip read you easier without having to move my head. All these things are things that our chairs enable us to go through and to fulfill. It fulfills a need. It's not a desire. We would like to make them cosmetic in many ways, but they're not a cosmetic desire. They're an absolute need.
Yeah. And
without the right chair, you'll end up with a pressure sore, and to be really frank, you'll die.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I think it's good for us to finish with. You could probably say that your chair and having access to a chair that's appropriate for your needs, how has that helped your health? How has that benefited you?
I can't even begin to explain. I mean, I had my spinal surgery quite young. I was about 11. Yeah, about 11 years old, so I was slightly younger than probably most people would be in the neuromuscular community in terms of when we get the spine done.
You were on TV getting your spinal surgery.
I was on TV getting my spine done, and I don't think you've actually seen this, but I was on 3 episodes, and one of the 2 episodes before I got my back done, I breathed really extremely, so I was like this every time. Shoulders up and down, that's for an example. But shoulders were up and down, and it took me a long time to take a breath in, and I maybe would only get 3 or 4 words in that breath. So it took me forever to say anything. My routine was up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, back to bed at 12, up again at 4, back to bed at 5, up at maybe 6 or half 6 to watch Coronation Street. Had to watch Coronation Street in those days. And then back to bed at 8:30 when it was over. So I really had no life. I was really exhausted. And when I got my back done, my chair was completely unsuitable. It wasn't great before. Afterwards, it was horrendous. Once we got all that sorted, I was able to get up at 8 in the morning and go to bed at 1 o'clock the following morning.
Yeah.
That difference in stamina was unreal. But even the simple things, like being able to go from one room of the house to the other. We're well known for our animals around here, so I'm able to wait and see the kittens if they're around. All those sorts of things, they sound really basic, but they make huge differences. But for me, in particular, it's the pain relief that Tilton Recline gives you, and the ability to be comfortable. Nobody would wear a pair of shoes that don't fit, and that's what the CCGs are asking us to do. They're asking us to wear a wheelchair that doesn't fit, and that's not. It's dangerous. I've never, ever, ever had a pressure sore, and that's testament to good management and to getting everything right every time. But to get a pressure sore, I know people that have died from them because of bad chairs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the thing. I think in conclusion, it's the good chair or the appropriate chair. It's not even like you're asking for good chair. It's something that's appropriate for your needs. It prevents you getting into bad health. It keeps you in good health. It gives you the autonomy that you need to be able to do your thing. I mean, one of the lads here is 13 years old, going on to 14, having his mum push him around in a manual chair because he can't get a power chair. What? And that then leads to the emotional well-being and good mental health that people can have.
I cannot tell you, like when I was little, we would have had a manual chair. And Mum would have been able to put the manual chair in the back of the car and take me out. And at that time, I could sit in a car seat for a short period of time. So, like, no more than half an hour, maybe. And she would, take me to Belfast shopping, and I'd be in a manual chair, and I really could not push it for love nor money. And they were never made for me to push. They were made for me to be pushed. And the amount of times Mum would stop at a clothes rail and Northern had something at the other side and completely abandoned me because she forgot me.
Yeah.
Real, and that causes real anxiety. Like, even yet, I'm petrified of being left in the car. Things that are avoidable. You can lead to real bad anxiety of being left trapped, that whole trapped idea. People deserve to be able to go wherever they want to go when they want to go.
Yeah.
And that includes opening and closing your own front door.
Yeah.
But I think this is a separate argument. We need to be funding more stuff like that. But in
fact, another episode I think we'll do on equipment and the things that other things can be provided. But I mean, this I just thought was really necessary because a wheelchair ain't asking for much. That's why whenever people ask for our sort of crowdfunding wheelchairs, I'm always, what the heck's going on here? So that's what we need to keep pushing this, because there doesn't seem to be an awful lot being done to press this forward, to move this forward. I mean, I know a lot of charities are raising awareness about it and talking about it, but I think we really need to start pushing things forward to see what can be done to ensure that this stops happening.
I mean, I know there was a huge lobby effort here in Northern Ireland to change things, and it was successful. It can be replicated. Look at us. We managed financially to fund this when our health service tripled, and it's not wheelchair services that causes that. It's unnecessary A&E admissions. There were sorts of things where we need to save money here, but it doesn't bankrupt us. In fact, it saves us quite a substantial amount of money. It's one chair every 5 to 6 years, roughly. My chair is doing really well. It's 3 years old now. It's coping really, really well. It's a bit of a creak here and there, which we'll get looked at and probably needs wind up again. But my chair is in its youth still, thankfully. Normally I stay there because it's by far one of my favourite chairs I've ever had. And it reminds me, not so long ago, I had the chance to meet a member of the royal family. And I was with another wheelchair user, and he looked at me, and he turned to the other person, and he went, "Are you not going to share like hers?" And it struck a chord with me that he felt like, everybody should be getting this happiest.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite cool.
Well, that's it. Why can you not get a chair like hers? That's the way.
And the difference, the only difference
got it right in the head. Just pass it down for your ECGs now.
The only difference is I live in a different part of the UK.
That's
the
it.
only difference.
And
it's frustrating for me to see whenever I know that I can get it here, but they can't get it there. There's no reason why not. None.
Another brilliant episode, guys, and yeah, we'll keep raising awareness about this. In fact, I think I'm going to put out on Muscle Out kind of where do you live and what's your wheelchair situation? I don't know. I saw people quoting Scandinavia. Everyone loves to quote Scandinavia. Apparently, it's a dream to live in Scandinavia, and I'm sure they have troubles of their own. So I'd like to I'd like to start sorting out maps of the world, find out who's got it good, who's not, what's going on. Do you have situations like this in your country where you might live in the north and it be one thing and live in the south and it be another? I don't know. Let us know. Comment below or send us a message, get in touch. And yeah, we'll see you again real soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.